Hey everybody, it's Ron with Ron's Computer Videos. I'm here at RePC in Seattle. They don't really dig on like filming inside the store, but pictures are cool. So I wanted to show you a little bit of some of the neat stuff that they have on offer and their mini museum in the back. RePC is located in kind of an industrial part of town. You can take, I think, what's called like the stadium stop there on the light rail, and it's maybe a quarter-mile walk from there, and that's what I did. I took the train and then walked over there, and it's sidewalks and everything, so it's not super industrial, but it's probably not a place in town that is very walkable. Once you're inside, of course, you are greeted by Sir Patrick Stewart, who lets you know not to bring bags or anything else in there. They don't want you to actually film inside the store. Pictures are okay, but even that, they really ask that you kind of respect people's privacy and stuff. So I did my best to make sure that I didn't get anybody just in the shot. They have a absolute ton of things. You have no idea. And it's not just computer stuff. It's stereos, it's cameras, it's all kinds of personal electronics. There's stuff for cash registers and typewriters and you name it, they have it. Plus cabling. It's just nuts. It is too much to look at. I'm one of those people that when you go to the craft fair, you go to the antique mall, and you walk around, after a while you're blind to everything that is going on just because there's so much to take in. If you need power bricks or cables or any kind of weird doodads for some piece of equipment that that you picked up at a secondhand store or you picked up off Marketplace or at a yard sale, by gosh, they've got it. They ask that you, as the signs very clearly say, to not mix up the items between the bins because they don't want anybody to pick up anything by accident. But if you are looking for a specific power supply or something, they've got it. Something else they've got are some really good deals on some classic Mac machines. Depending on where you live, some of these items are basically unobtainium. So it is nice to have a place where you can go in and you can pick up a machine that has been tested and is known to be working. Some of these things, though, you might look at it as a collector and be like, oh, these prices are kind of high. I want to remind you here at the outset that this is kind of a service. It's part store, it's part service. So when you see the price on something, you might be like, oh, that looks high. I want you to absolutely consider the fact that you are supporting an entire community of tinkerers and vintage computing enthusiasts with these purchase prices. Plus, when you buy it, it's not like buying it off Marketplace where it's just you get the machine and you go. There's service after the sale, and you can go in there and talk to them. And if you've got a problem, they'll help you. While I was there was a gentleman who had bought a laptop who had come back a couple of times, and they were like, hey, if you're just having problems, let's swap it. Let's get something different, even if there's a price difference. So you will not see that at a lot of places because those places are gone because people decided to buy on price instead of community. I did see some old favorites. Here's a Quadra 610. The plastics, it's funny, there's a little thing that I don't know if I got it in any of my shots, but it basically says, like, be careful with the plastics, they're fragile on all these Mac machines. But probably not a terrible deal on a Mac 2 if you are looking to have a kind of a machine from that era. It is marked as an as-is machine because it does have some battery damage, but if you are someone who is handy in repairing those things, you could probably take care of it. Here's something really, really neat. I did like this quite a bit. This Bernoulli dual drive. When I went to Computer Reset a couple of years ago when they were doing their clearance sales, they had one of these there, and I almost picked it up, and I didn't because I didn't understand how the pricing stuff worked, where basically at the end of the day, they probably would have looked at this and said $5. I have no idea how much they wanted for it, but this is a really neat piece of kit where, you know, if you're running like a Mac 2 system or something like that, and you were part of like some sort of video editing house or a pre-pub or something like that, you would really loved having this all in one enclosure just for space savings. Something else they had things from schools, especially. So a whole bucket of AlphaSmart 2000s. If you don't know what these are basically for schools that maybe didn't have enough computers to go around. So what you could do is you could pick up these AlphaSmarts for a fraction of the price of a desktop PC or a laptop or something like that, or even a Mac. And what you would do is you would actually type your paper into this device, and it's got the little LCD up there at the top where it would kind of show you, I think it's maybe 5 or 6 lines that would just show you kind of what you're typing and the very basics of, like, you know, indentions and tabs and things like that. And then what you would do is take it to the computer lab, you would plug it into the machine, and you would hit send. Up here in the upper right hand corner of that keyboard, you hit send, and it would just retype it to the computer for you. It sounds silly, and because it kind of is, but you know, if you went to a school that didn't have the resources, this was better than nothing. It was better than having to basically wait to get computer time. You could have an entire classroom full of these AlphaSmarts, have everybody type their paper, and then just go down there very quickly, have it retype it for them, and then go through and do your final editing and then print your copy and stuff. So this device hung around for quite a while. There's a bunch of different revisions. Something else that's kind of cool, saw one of these sort of early, like, you know, the blue and white Macs, the G4 Tower sort of themed LCDs. This was pretty neat, and I believe it's cut off in the picture here, but I believe the label said that it was working. So if you were somebody that wanted one of those, $150 is not a terrible price. This is kind of the beginning of their museum. They have all kinds of different things back there, and it's kind of grouped just by interest. There's no real hard, fast sort of anything that's laying out what these machines were. You could tell that this was something that used to be somebody's baby, but maybe in the last few years has kind of gotten a little less attention than what it did, but it was kind of neat to see all this equipment. There's a Mac 128 and a Lisa, or maybe a Mac XL. I didn't open it up to check. Some cool Underwood typewriters. They also had some other machines that were kind of notable, things that people would remember. They had graphics up on the walls and stuff, but you can also see that, you know, this is a workspace. There's things that splash around and whatnot, but it was kind of cool to see all of that. Also, so you know, the timeline in the history of computing devices is also an emergency exit for the store. So you could go through, and if you really wanted to, you could read up on major innovations in computing, you know, while you were trying to escape the building. Some of the stuff was really, really nicely sort of documented. It's neat to see the TI-99 4A with all the expansion chassis and drives and stuff. That was probably somebody's baby for a long time. Some of the other machines and stuff there too. There's a, you know, Trash 80 and a VIC 20 and you know, an Atari 400, and, you know, some cool, like that picture back there in the corner. I actually I worked for a place that had this exact photo. It was an IBM shop. They had mainframes. They were I forget what the term is, where they call it like people that worked in those spaces with the elevated floor, but it was really neat, and this definitely sold the idea of like this beautiful, clean computing operation this would have been sort of like the, kind of early, maybe 1980s. And even more equipment, mini computers, terminals, talking about there's a teacher's pet, which is kind of a cool machine that would have been, the education version of those pet machines, and a super pet, which I know that a lot of people really like those quite a bit. There's a briefcase computer there, and also some tabulators, and a sort of a what are the tape printers and such, like the printing terminal. Rainbow 100 for people that are fans of all of that. They also had some of the early innovators and kind of those early kit machines and stuff. So you have 8080 there, and some more terminal stuff, and some hard disk storage there on the right. They also had the PDP setup there, where you could check that out as well. They had, I think that thing there on the top is for like the reel-to-reel stuff for storing your data. And then I always space out on that machine on the left there. I know people that those are, it's not truly like a DOS compatible, like the floppies have like a weird format and all kinds of stuff, but those are machines. They had a selection of different storage media there, hard disks, tape media. They also had a enclosure that had some neat stuff, like the thing down there in the kind of the middle of the cabinet with the cable on top of it. That's an early CD-ROM drive. They also had some different like game consoles and things like that, and kind of an early Microsoft mouse, and just neat stuff that would have been of interest to people that just like computing. They also had a number of portable machines, a lot of there's some Tandy stuff there. There's also a ZX80, and that Epson machine was kind of neat. I can't imagine using it since it only has like that very like maybe a 20-line display, but there was somebody that loved taking that on the road back in the day. They also had a huge selection of cards, including kind of some early Sound Blaster stuff and memory cards for different machines. There's a CGA card there, and different stuff, and also a 8080 motherboard down there. Some PC Junior stuff, including the worst keyboard that was available for the PC Junior. But there's also an original Apple II, kind of an early Apple II board down there. I had one of those Hayes microcoupler modems. That's the box at the top actually has all the ports and stuff to connect to the phone line, and then the card directly underneath that is the actual modem. And then a Disk 2 controller, and some other sort of like Sinclair equipment and stuff in there as well. And they also had a little write-up about Ada Lovelace. They had stuff there about more storage stuff and George Boole. So it was interesting. They had a lot of stuff to read if you had time to sit around and kind of drink it all in. And all of this, of course, is under the watchful eye of their high-tech security system to make sure that people are not trying to increase costs by doing shady things. This was something neat that I saw there, and this is kind of like a snapshot from something that Apple did for just a very brief amount of time. When Apple switched their ImageWriter 2, the original ImageWriter 2 has the sort of Snow White the Snow White coloring, sort of like when you think about the Apple IIc and all of that, where it's that white kind of color. That's the Snow White design language. And for a while, Apple sold the Image Writer 2 in that color. And there's no printing on the top of it. I'm sure you've seen an Image Writer 2 that actually says Image Writer 2 over there by the Apple logo. The early ones did not do that. Well, when Apple released the Apple IIgs and they the 2C Plus and all these other machines that use the platinum color scheme, what Apple did is they had a back stock of boxes. So you could buy if you're in a warehouse trying to fill an order or something like that, if you just saw the box, you might skip it if it said specifically, that you were looking for something else. But this just made it easy for people to know, okay, it's a platinum Apple, Image Writer 2 inside the old style box. And I went over there and fiddled with the tape as much as I wanted to and verified that, yeah, that's exactly what was inside the box. And they also had some neat game controllers and things like that, and all kinds of charging stuff for VR headsets. Such joy, much stick. Wow. And I just thought this was neat because this is a throwback to back to the PS2 days. If you know what this controller is, this is for a game called Taiko Drum Master, where you actually had like a little drum, had a couple drumsticks, and you would kind of drum along to what at the time were popular songs. But they had so much of this stuff to just go through. And I promise you that this video is just barely scratching the surface. There were lots of people there, lots of people going up and down aisles. I wanted to respect people's privacy, so I took as many pictures as I could. But definitely recommend. I got to go back there soon. That's it. It's actually kind of a really cool store. If you're ever in the Seattle area, you should definitely check it out. The manager on duty today was telling me that I had just missed cathode ray dude by about 10 minutes. So I guess that's cool. Everybody wants a little bit of privacy. But anyway, you should come over. You should check it out. There's amazing deals in there. And it's not just computer stuff. It's all kinds of old electronics. Plus, they got knowledgeable people inside that are happy to help. So check it out.